Hey, spiders. Today we're going to talk about Job. Job had everything. He was very, very gifted, but God was in control. And this is a really important lesson because it kind of goes along with what's going on right now. Let's do a little review real quick. If you'll remember, we were all created in God's own image. And because of that, we all are just like God. We aren't God, but we are in his own image. And he made Adam and Eve. And we all come from Adam and Eve. And that makes us all a human race. Remember last week we talked about human race? We're all human race. Now again, we aren't God. We're not even close to God. But he created in his own image, meaning we're like him. We're like him. And he wants us to be like him. Okay, so now let's talk about Job, who was a very loving, a very giving, and a very wealthy man in biblical times. So blessed by God. Job was a faithful man of God. He was a true believer in God. And here he is, and he's praying. Something happened to Job while he was living. The Lord give and the Lord takes away is something that Job has said. And you've heard that before, but it comes from Job. So we're going to read the story about Job, and we're going to remember that God is sovereign. And we're going to figure out what sovereign means. So here comes Job, and he's living his life, and he's living his best life, and he's been blessed. He's rich. He has a great big family, 7 sons and 6 daughters. He's got a wife. He's got all kinds of livestock, all kinds of land. He lives very, very comfortably. Okay, so all this is happening. He's living a great life and he's following God. But something happens. Okay, so here he is, and you'll see there's his children, there's the people, there's servants, there's his animals, all the things that he has. But let's talk and read about in Job, in our special Bible, in our Bible we use in classroom. In Job, something happened. Job chapter 1, verse 16 says, while he was still speaking, let's go back a little bit, okay? We need a little background history. It says, one day, Job's sons and daughters were at their oldest brother's house, and they were enjoying some good food and drinking wine. Now remember, wine's not bad, but they weren't drinking it to be bad. It was part of their food, so don't forget that, okay? During that time, a messenger came to Job, and this is from Job chapter 1, verse 13 through 15. The oxen were plowing, said the messenger. The donkeys were eating grass near them. Then the Sabines attacked us and carried the animals off. They killed some of the servants with their swords. I am the only one who has escaped to tell you this. Well, they're all gathered, and then here comes this messenger. And he's telling them, your animals have been taken and some of your servants have been killed. But while that's happening, another servant comes. Chapter 1, verse 16. While he was still speaking, a second messenger came. And he said, God sent lightning from the sky. It struck the sheep and killed them. It burned up some of the servants. I'm the only one who has escaped to tell you. Wait a minute. So lightning came down, struck the sheep, killed some of the servants. It's like, what's going on? So over here, somebody steals my animals, and over here, the lightning strikes and kills my animals. And Job's taking all this in. But it keeps going. And in verse 17, while that messenger was still speaking, a third messenger came. The Chaldeans separated themselves into 3 groups. They attacked your camels and carried them off. They killed the rest of the servants with their swords. I'm the only one who has escaped to tell you. Wait a minute. So now his camels are gone. His sheep are gone. His donkeys are gone. Now his camels are gone. And they're killing his servants. But in verse 18, while he was still speaking, a 4th messenger came to Job. Your sons and daughters were in their oldest brother's house. They were enjoying good food and drinking wine, and suddenly a strong wind blew in from the desert. It struck the 4 corners of the house. The house fell down on your children. Now, all of them are dead, I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. What happened? He's lost his servants. He's lost his animals. And now he's lost his children. This is what Job did. Verse 20. After Job heard all of these reports, he got up, tore his robes. He shaved his head. He fell to the ground and he worshiped the Lord. What did he do? He worshiped the Lord. I was born naked. I will leave here naked. You have given and you have taken away. May your name be praised. That's what Job said. Everything was stripped from him. Everything. His animals, his servants, his children. And he said, may your name be praised. In these hard times for him, he never turned away from God. He never turned away. He stayed faithful. He prayed, even though it was hard. He never lost his faith. He was losing everything. He was so good. He was having a great life. He lost everything, but he didn't stop believing. So in Job chapter 2, verse 7, something else happened. It says, the Satan left the Lord, apparently they'd been talking, and went on his way, and he sent painful sores to Job. Now here's the thing. Satan cannot touch us without God's permission. God said, you can't make Job's turn away from me. He will stay with me. So Satan left and he went and he put sores on Job, but he had permission from God to do it. They covered him from the bottom of his feet to the top of his head. He got part of a broken pot and he used it to scrape his skin, and he did it while he was sitting on ashes. I'm not sure why he did that. He said to his wife, are you still continuing to be faithful to the Lord? Speak evil things against him and you will die. That's what his wife said. Job replied, you are talking like a foolish woman. We accept good things from God. We should also accept trouble when he sends it. And in spite of everything, Job didn't say anything that was sinful. Job stayed faithful, even though terrible things were happening around him and to him, including sickness. His wife said, turn away and get away from this. This is not working for you. God is not here for you. Job said, no, God is. Even in the hard times, God is with us. That's what he was saying. Guess what? We're having some hard times right now. It's weird. The world is upside down, topsy-turvy. Guess who hasn't left us? God. God hasn't left us. And we can live just like Job. And we can be faithful to the very, very end, no matter what, no matter sickness, no matter what we lose, no matter having to be stuck in our houses all the time. God is with us. And when we are faithful, he will bless us even greater because God knows more. And when it talks about God being sovereign, it means that God is in control. And that's exactly what Job was saying. You can't turn me around. God's into control. I may not understand it, but God is in control. I don't have to understand what's going on in our world today for us, but God is in control. No matter what, God's in control. That means I have to stay faithful. That means you have to stay faithful. We are in God's own image. It means we're like God. We aren't God. We're like him. He created us in his image. He wants us to follow him, to obey him, and to know that he is in control. Stay faithful, guys and gals. Spiders, you're doing a great job. Stay faithful in your work. Keep going. We've got just one more week.